Great pleasure to welcome you to the Spring 2012 convention. It's great to see so many representatives here from branches, specialist groups, international sections, and we've also got some members of council, trustees, and obviously some staff. So a very warm welcome to you all. Now, first thing I've got to do is a little bit of housekeeping. So first of all, there's not a fire alarm due today, a practice, so if you hear a continuous alarm, it's a real problem. You need to go out following the green arrows and outside the building. Secondly, can I ask that you've all got your phones, etc., either switched off or switched to silent? And the last point here is that you've all got badges, and there's some good information on the badges. You've got details of today's Twitter hashtag, and also details of the convention web page, so that you can access that, and where you'll find the slides for today, and you'll find all the papers will be added as we go through the day. Okay. Now, the purpose of the convention is primarily about giving us an opportunity to network, to share ideas, and to hear from other member groups about what they're doing and all the good things that are happening. And as usual, we've reviewed what you said about the last convention, and we've taken your comments into account when designing this convention. You told us that, well, you always tell us, in fact, that you enjoy the networking, the interaction and the workshops, and so we've tried to introduce some interesting workshops for you today. You also told us last time you enjoyed the sessions by the President and the Deputy President, so we've got them both here today. Jim will be talking to you and Bob will be running a workshop. All the feedback from the Autumn Convention is available on the volunteer portal, which is something you'll hear about in a little while. And a consistent message was that we should be trying to focus on fewer topics, but in greater depth. So I hope that today's agenda will be suitably focused around some specific topics, particularly some tools and facilities which will be aimed at enabling better communication, and that's really our theme for today. This morning we'll see the launch of the volunteer portal, which I certainly hope, and I've no doubt, will become an invaluable tool for member groups in terms of providing useful information and an opportunity to discuss with other groups, etc. And then this afternoon you'll hear from the Recording and Broadcasting Working Group on the work that they're doing to help enable member groups to communicate with and to reach a wider audience. Of course, the convention will also be showcasing some of the good practices and ideas that have come from various member groups. One of the things you particularly asked us to do in the feedback was to give you some follow-up on workshops and different things that were raised at the last convention. We always publish this output on the convention webpage, and I appreciate that sometimes that's quite difficult to find unless you've actually got the URL to hand. We will in future publish this on the volunteer portal. Of course, we use the output to inform us in terms of our plans for improvement and various actions. And one example of this is that at the speed networking last time, you told us about an issue where the events booking system doesn't post details of delegates within the secure area like the previous system did. Well, we've taken that on board, and as a direct result of that feedback from you, we're actually making a change to the system which will be implemented in May, I understand. So I wanted to give you some specific feedback from the speed networking session, which was particularly popular in the autumn and which will bring back networking of that style this next autumn. So the newsletter for member groups was considered a good idea, though a lot of people were unaware that it existed. But we got lots of ideas for content and format, which we will be using in our future plans for providing news to member groups. There was also very strong interest and support for the work that's being done helping members find employment with the courses that have been run. And this idea is continuing, and we aim to publish information on the portal to help other groups to run these sorts of initiatives on a more regional basis. Your ideas for communication with members are also being taken on board, and when we're planning content for the portal and when we're actually planning what we do in future with newsletters, etc. So there were 6 topics in the speed networking last time. We got some very clear, consistent messages from the tools and process automation stream, and because of that, this is why we're focusing some priorities now on the volunteer portal and on recording and broadcasting, which were loud messages that you told us were important, and of course that events booking system. And we've also got another list of ideas and suggestions that we will prioritise. Online networking gave us a clear steer that members are more likely to use established mediums like LinkedIn and Facebook than they are to use the member network. So that's something we need to consider. But we also got lots of very useful suggestions for ways in which member groups can use the social networking tools to help them, engage better with their members. So we'll be publishing a lot of that guidance as we move forward. And we asked the question, what does success look like for a member group? We got lots of different suggestions. It encouraged very robust discussions and very fascinating debate. And I think what's clear from us is that it's different for different groups, and that it's more likely to be determined by the impact and the influence rather than just money and numbers. So anyway, all the output from the speed networking is now available on the volunteer portal, and further analysis is now going on, and you'll see some action plans that will follow soon. Right, to change the subject slightly, it's International Women's Day today, and to celebrate this, BCS Women have a couple of really good initiatives, but they're running a fantastic competition aimed at encouraging more girls into a computing career. So their idea is to develop posters, and this is a little example, which show women in IT and showing the benefits of working in IT. The posters are intended to be displayed at schools, and they show the women in their work lives and also in their lives outside work, so that they will be able to see very quickly that it's maybe a good career to go into. So all you women, the competition was going to close today, but I've been told that it's going to be extended for a while, so you need to hurry anyway to get your entries in. And to inspire you, this is one of the entries we've already received. This is from one of our members at UAE, so it really does look good to get involved in it, doesn't it? And you can imagine these sorts of things on the corridors in schools. I think they could be really inspiring. Right, so before I hand over to our first speaker, I've just got 2 very special duties to perform. First of all, I need to announce the results of the elections to council for the member group constituencies. This year we've got 2 vacancies representing branches and 1 vacancy representing specialist groups. We've also got 1 representing YPG, but they're not going to decide that till this evening, so I can't give you that one. But I'm delighted to announce that the branch representatives to council will be Louis Ojua from Newcastle branch and James Uamoibi from Belfast branch. And the representative for specialist groups will be Ian Thornton-Breyer from Proms G. So I think they deserve a round of applause. I'd also like to remind any of you that haven't voted yet that the direct elections for members onto council, the voting ends on Monday, so please make sure that you've voted for that. Okay, my second special duty is about representing the hard work and contribution made by our volunteers. As you know, we've got special awards that we make to deserving volunteers. And we present these awards at a number of events during the year, so not just at these conventions. But today we have 3 awards, and they're going to be presented by our president, Professor Jim Norton. So if Jim can come up onto the stage to present them. So the first is a Recognition of Appreciation Award. And I'll just read out a little citation to give you an idea of what the award's for. This person's given outstanding service to BCS Berkshire branch, particularly over the last year. He's on the Executive Committee of Teen Tech, a technology day for school children, and he's been extremely involved in rolling this out as a national initiative with BCS involvement. His committee to the Teen Tech project in Berkshire has involved him in representing BCS Berkshire all over the country. For example, he ran a whole day event at the Teen Tech event in Hull on behalf of BCS, conducting workshops with dozens of school groups explaining how a radio advert could be made using internet podcast technology. He's organised very successful events for Berkshire branch over a number of years, and also built up links with lots of other professional organisations and held joint events regularly. He's also played a very active role in YPG committee over the year as their marketing officer, then vice chair, and founded the YPG network of ambassadors. He's given enthusiastic and very effective service to BCS over a number of years, for which he thoroughly deserves this certificate of appreciation. Could I ask Anthony to come and receive his award? Well. We've also got 2 recognition awards for CITP assessors. You're probably aware that we introduced some changes to the CITP standard a couple of years ago to improve the rigour of the certification and the whole process that you need to go to become chartered. And part of this involves a mandatory interview, which is held by 2 volunteer assessors. One has to take the lead and the other supports that. And they need to have specialist knowledge in the applicant's chosen area, etc. And I know that these interviewers, they run interviews all through the week, through the evenings, through weekends. I even know that some are running them at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. It's amazing. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that to perform 50 of these interviews over a year is a pretty amazing achievement. These 2 people have performed in excess of 50 interviews in 2011, and they've demonstrated exemplary commitment to the role. They've shown great flexibility and professionalism in their approach, and complete commitment to the profession and to the standard represented by CITP status. And we believe that this type of personal contribution deserves a special sort of recognition. The 2 assessors receiving these awards today are Mark Beattie and Mike Hurst. Unfortunately, Mark can't be with us, so Jeanette Bolton is going to collect the award on his behalf. So could I ask Jeanette and Mike to come and receive their awards? Okay, it's really important to recognise the valuable contributions that are made by our volunteers, and I would urge you to nominate deserving volunteers for these awards. You'll find information on the volunteer portal all about awards. Don't worry if you're unsure about how to complete the form, because member groups team or the best practice committee are going to be more than willing to assist. Right, so I think that's it from me. Now to get on with the real proceedings of the day, I have great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, our President, Professor Jim Norton.